The night Mark shoved his way into my house, rainwater dripping from his leather jacket like venom, was the night I realized revenge isn't served cold, it's served screaming. He stood in my foyer, his eyes black with a rage I had never seen, while my current boyfriend, Derek, slept obliviously upstairs. This is the story of how my infidelity burned my life to the ground. Thank you to everyone watching, new faces and loyal subscribers. You're the reason I can share this raw chapter of my life. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do it now. Your support fuels this journey. Drop a comment below. Tell me what you would have done differently. Now, let's rewind. I met Mark at a Brooklyn gym in 2018. He was all taut muscle and dry wit, a corporate lawyer who quoted Hemingway between sets. We married quickly, a whirlwind of rooftop proposals and Napa Valley weddings. But 3 years in, the cracks emerged. His late nights became excuses. My loneliness became Derek, our yoga instructor, sun-kissed, serene, and there. The affair lasted 6 months. I told myself it was just sex, a band-aid for a dying marriage. But Mark found the receipts, hotel charges, a bracelet I had lost. The night he confronted me, he didn't yell. He smiled, icy and calm, and said, "You will regret this." Then he vanished until last October. Derek and I had just moved into a Connecticut colonial, a fresh start. But when lightning split the sky that Thursday, Mark did too. He didn't need a key, he knew the garage code. "Hello, wife," he hissed, stepping into the shadows of our new life. Upstairs, Derek's phone buzzed a text. Mark's grin widened. "He will want to see this." Mark didn't leave that night. He sat at our kitchen island, scrolling through photos of Derek and me on his phone, photos I had never taken. "You think he's different?" He sneered. "Men like him are born liars." The affair had been careless. Derek and I met weekly at the Sunrise Motel, a dingy spot off I-95. I had told Mark I was writing at a cafe. But Mark had hired someone, a PI named Rosa, who had snapped us through fogged windows. When I begged him to leave, he tossed a USB drive on the counter. "Give that to your boy toy. It's a wedding gift." Derek found it at dawn. I watched his face pale as he clicked through files, security footage of us, bank statements showing deposits Mark had framed as bribes. "What is this?" Derek whispered. Mark's revenge wasn't just exposure, it was poison. By sunrise, Derek was gone, and my phone lit up with texts. Did you ever love him? Or was I just another lie? But the worst wasn't the fallout. It was the voicemail Mark left as he disappeared into the storm. "You forgot our anniversary, Carmen. But don't worry. I have one last gift." Mark's last gift arrived 3 days later, wrapped in the kind of silence that makes your bones ache. I had spent those nights pacing our colonial's hardwood floors, jumping at every creak, every flicker of headlights through the blinds. Derek hadn't returned my calls. His gym bag still sat by the door, a relic of a life that already felt like someone else's. The yoga studio where I taught, Sacred Breath, a boutique spot with lavender-scented towels and $20 green juices, became my only refuge. Or so I thought. Mark walked into my 7 a.m. vinyas class like he owned the room. He wore a tailored gray suit, his hair slicked back, a smirk playing on his lips as he unrolled a mat in the front row. 12 women stared, their downward dogs wilting. My hands trembled as I guided them into warrior pose, my voice cracking when I said, "Breathe through the fear." He waited until the room emptied to corner me. "You look terrible, Carmen," he said, tossing a protein bar onto the reception desk like it was a grenade. Guilt's a hell of a diet. I demanded answers. What was on the USB? Why he had framed Derek when he would stop? He leaned in, his cologne sharp and familiar. "Stop? You didn't stop when I begged you to." His finger traced the Sanskrit, Tattoo on my wrist, the one he had paid for on our honeymoon. Now you'll learn what happens when I cheat. That night, I found the first camera. It was nestled in the smoke detector above our bed, its red eye blinking. I tore it down, screaming, but 3 more lurked, in the shower head, the bookshelf, even the damn coffee maker. Footage of Derek and me tangled in sheets, laughing in the kitchen, fighting over whose turn it was to take out the trash. All of it time-stamped, edited, curated. Mark had been watching for months. Derek showed up at midnight, his knuckles bloody, his voice raw. He had gone to Mark's apartment, demanding answers, only to find a woman there, Rosa, the PI. She had laughed, handed him a file, and said, "Ask your girlfriend who really hired me." The papers spilled across the kitchen floor. Bank transfers from an account under my name, dated weeks before the affair began. "You paid her to follow us?" Derek's voice broke. I hadn't, but the proof was there, my signature forged with precision. Mark hadn't just framed Derek, he had framed me. As Derek stormed out, my phone lit up. Unknown number. "You didn't think I would let you play the victim, did you?" The house felt claustrophobic, the walls humming with secrets. I poured a glass of wine, my hand steady for the first time in days, and noticed the label, a 2019 Cabernet, Mark's favorite. The bottle was full, but I had bought it yesterday. The Cabernet wasn't the only thing Mark left behind. Taped to the bottom of the bottle was a key card for the Sunrise Motel, room 212, the same room Derek and I had rented every Tuesday for 6 months. The irony wasn't lost on me. Mark had always loved symbolism. I drove there at 3 a.m., the highways empty, my mind racing. The motel's neon sign flickered like a distress signal. Inside room 212, I found a box on the stained bedsheet. Inside, grainy surveillance stills of Derek meeting a woman in a Bronx alleyway 2 years earlier. Her face was blurred, but her posture, straight-backed, one hand always on her hip, was unmistakable. Rosa. Derek hadn't just known the PI. He had owed her. Back home, I combed through his things. Buried beneath his meditation crystals and half-finished journals was a burner phone. The only number saved, I called it. "Took you long enough," Rosa answered. She agreed to meet at a diner off Route 20, the kind of place where the coffee tastes like tar and nobody asks questions. She slid into the booth wearing a leather trench coat, her nails painted blood red. "You're smarter than Mark thinks," she said. "But not smart enough." Derek, she explained, had been part of a pyramid scheme years ago, fake wellness products, gullible investors. Rosa was his enforcer, threatening clients who wanted refunds. But when the feds closed in, Derek cut a deal, handing over evidence that sank Rosa's brother. "He got 6 years," she said, stirring sugar into her coffee. "I got revenge." Mark had found her, through court records. He paid her triple to dig into Derek, then triple again to flip the script. "He wanted you to feel what he felt," she said. Betrayed. Paranoid. Powerless. I threw my lukewarm coffee at her. She didn't flinch. "You're missing the point, Querida," she said, wiping her cheek. "Why do you think Derek agreed to fuck you? He knew who you were the second you walked into that studio." The room tilted. Derek had targeted me first. Mark had told him about my loneliness, my restlessness. Their history wasn't just business, it was personal. They had been roommates in college, a fact Derek had buried under lies. Mark's revenge wasn't just against me, it was against both of us. When I returned home, Derek was waiting, his duffel bag packed. "I am leaving," he said. Rosa called. I blocked the door. "You knew Mark. All this time you knew." He looked at me like I was a stranger. "And you knew he would never let you go." His confession spilled out. Mark had tracked him down after the scandal, offered him cash to get close to me. "I didn't expect to fall for you," he said. "But Mark owns me. He always has." Before I could scream, my phone buzzed. "Unknown number, check the garage." The motion sensor light flickered on as I stepped inside. My car's windshield was shattered. Spray painted across the hood. Liar. And beneath it, in smaller letters, P.S. You shouldn't have trusted the wine. I sprinted back inside, my throat burning, but Derek was gone. So was the bottle of Cabernet. In the sink, the glass I had drunk from glistened with a faint pink residue. The poison worked slowly, a serpent coiling in my veins. By dawn, my vision blurred at the edges, and every breath felt like glass in my lungs. I crawled to the bathroom, vomiting crimson into the sink. Mark's final gift wasn't death, it was a countdown. You shouldn't have trusted the wine. I dialed 911, but the call dropped. Mark had cut the Wi-Fi, the landline, even my cell signal. Outside, rain sheeted against the windows, the storm from his first return now a full-throated roar. I stumbled to the garage, where Derek's abandoned gym bag held a flashlight, a pocket knife, and a half-empty bottle of water. No antidote, just survival. He found me there, hunched over the shattered windshield of my car. Mark leaned against the doorway, a silhouette in a tailored black coat, a smirk twisting his face. You look alive enough to suffer.
Good.
Derek emerged behind him, eyes hollow, hands stuffed into his hoodie. It didn't have to be like this, Carmen, he muttered. You, I spat, the knife trembling in my grip. You knew. You lied. You loved me? Mark laughed. Love. He's a hired gun. Always was. He tossed Derek a roll of duct tape. Tie her up. Let's finish this. But Derek hesitated, the tape slipping from his fingers. I can't. The punch came fast, Mark's fist cracking Derek's jaw, sending him sprawling into a toolbox. Sentimental prick, Mark snarled. After everything she did to us? Us? I choked out. Mark turned, his rage refocusing on me. You think Derek's the only one I used? Rosa, the PI? She's my sister. You ruined her life too, when you dragged her into your mess. The pieces snapped together, Rosa's loyalty, her venom. I lunged at him, the knife slashing air, but he caught my wrist, twisting until bone creaked. You took everything, he hissed. Now I will take your future. Derek staggered up, swinging a wrench at Mark's head. It connected with a sickening thud. Mark reeled, blood streaking his temple, and I scrambled toward the door. But he recovered fast, pulling a lighter from his pocket. You both want to play heroes? He flicked the flame alive. Burn with the roll. He tossed it onto a gasoline-soaked tarp. Fire erupted, clawing up the walls, smoke swallowing the room. Derek yanked me toward the exit, but Mark blocked it, his silhouette backlit by inferno. No one leaves, he coughed, madness gleaming in his eyes. Derek tackled him, both men crashing into the storm. I crawled after them, the garage collapsing in a roar of sparks. Mark's screams pierced the night as flames engulfed him, a pyre of his own making. Derek dragged me to the driveway, his arms blistered, face streaked with soot. Sirens wailed in the distance.
Why?
I rasped. He pressed his forehead to mine. Because you weren't the only one who believed the lie. Paramedics found us minutes later. Mark's body was ash. Derek was arrested at the hospital, Rose's evidence sealing his fate. My kidneys failed a week after. I survived, barely. But some fires never die. To my incredible viewers, this journey through betrayal and revenge is yours as much as mine. If this story gripped you, please let me know in the comments. What would you have done in Carmen's shoes? Drop a like, share with someone who would binge this drama, and don't forget to subscribe. You're the spark that keeps this channel alive. Until next time, stay curious. And stay wary of the wine.